Hey, I know you. You have a complicated relationship with someone in your past, and you think the only way you're ever going to fully get over it is if you just sit down and talk about what a whirlwind of a situationship that was? And you also are a songwriter and think songwriting is cool, and you want to learn more about how I write? We're going to analyze lyrics and melodies. I'm going to sing different parts of this amazing song. Brag much? It's not bragging, it's confidence. I don't think they think it's amazing, Kara. Well, maybe if I play them in verse, they'll change their minds. Remember flirting, trying to push me into the pool. Remember when you told me I was the girl for you. But now I'm seeing you and say the same things again with the same ring. Remember swearing, now I'm thinking it was all looks. Alright, Caroline, you know the drill. Yeah. I'll be back. Perfect. Since Caroline's cooperating today, we can go ahead and get into the first verse. Now, if you weren't there for the first verse, well, number one, why were you there? It was super funny and super cool and super informative, but whatever, I'll forgive you because you're here now. Anyways, last video we talked about the importance of a first verse in providing context for the story that you're going to tell in the core of the chorus. And this verse serves a similar purpose. Before we get to the chorus, which is all about needing to have a big conversation with someone to finally let them go, we need to know about the relationship. Because if I'm singing about desperately needing clarity from someone when you don't know what I need clarity on, the whole story of the song just won't sit right. So first verses are very important, which is why, drum roll, the appetizer of the song is dun da da da. Give you a hint, it's what we're talking about right now. Say it with me. The first verse. Little hard. Yay! Because the first verse sets the tone for the rest of the song, just like an appetizer sets the tone for the rest of the meal. So, for these first two lines, when you're in need of specific details to convey a relationship, your memories are always going to be your best friend. Even when you're not writing about a specific person or experience, drawing on memories, in my opinion, is the easiest way to come up with a cool detail. So I really like this lyric as the first line of the song because it's so visual and it kind of throws you into the setting immediately. And that's why using memories is so great because it instantly paints a picture in your mind. And again, if you watched the last video, you know that I love to match a lyric with a melody. Ow, I hit my foot! So whenever there's a lyrical shift, like here, I love to match that lyrical shift with the shift in the melody. And this is the first time in the first verse that we hear a different melody, which I think helps to transition the story from then to now. Transitions are really important, both lyrically and melodically, so when you can match them up, it really helps to solidify that for the listener. So basically, my advice is to switch up the melody when you have a lyrical shift. It's an easy and subtle way of telling the listener, hey, it's different now, because the melody literally is different. Now, for this line, I got black on my yellow marker. Is it dramatic? Yeah. Is it accurate? Not really, but it doesn't matter. Because it's dramatic, it grabs your attention. And just from a writer's perspective, I think this line is a really cool way to show someone seeming so committed to you and then immediately going and matching that commitment with somebody else. So now it feels fake and you're thinking, whoa, was I wrong about what that was? Like, were you just kidding? Did I miss the joke? Like, seeing that sort of behavior really makes alarm bells go off in your head. Like, hey, something's not right here. And for someone like me, a big overthinker who's very easily stressed, of course, any subtle change is going to make me absolutely lose my mind. Especially when it's something that I've already overthought so much. Sort of like thinking you're done with an assignment and then when you go to turn it in, you realize that there's still 10 more pages you have to do. So this last line, oh my god, that's such an ugly line. So it's super clear. The last line, pretty, just solidifies like, okay, you swore to me, but right after that you swore to her, so can I really trust what you're saying to me now? And I really like the use of remember in these lines. Because it really reinforces the idea of going back on something 100 times, like over and over and over again, and rethinking it. And it also sort of subtly implies that I'm really only able to rely on my memory and my experience and not the other person's. And Caroline's gonna come in here soon, so I'm gonna have to move this. But on this last line, the melody goes down a little bit, which is really cool because it's copying the melody of these two first lines, but it's just a little bit different. Just like your perspective on the situation is a little bit different now, just like the melody, because the feeling matches the melody. Isn't that cool? I think it's cool. Can I go now? After listening to you yap for so long, they deserve to hear the pre. Since you asked so nicely. Yay! You got me reeling, staring at my ceiling. What is this feeling I'm really needing? Okay, that's enough. We have to stop and analyze this right now. But the transition, the chorus. Caroline, I'll give you time in a second, but it would be a disservice to them if we didn't stop and do this. Okay, fine. Doesn't she know that we have to stop and analyze every little thing? Okay, so the pre. So leading up to the chorus, I wanted to make sure the listener knew just how distressing the situation was to me. And in songwriting, I'm always trying to say something without actually saying it. You know? Okay, like this lyric. I don't say that I'm being kept up late in bed or that, I'm losing sleep over this. I just say that I'm staring at the ceiling. But to me, that implies all that other stuff. All the thinking and wondering has kept me up. So I'm saying it without saying it. And that kind of writing allows you to interpret it in different ways, which is one of the coolest things about art. Because I think a part of what makes music so easy to connect with is the fact that we can take lyrics and apply them to our own specific situations in life. But especially for me, it's hard to let the listener kind of run wild with a lyric and create their own meaning out of it, instead of taking the meaning as what you were trying to say, if that makes sense. But that aspect is also something that makes me love songs from other artists. So, when writing, you have to leave room for Can you see that? Different interpretations. And that means that saying the thing outright in the most specific way isn't always the best way. Because when you do that, you're almost isolating the number of people that can relate to the song. Now, in my opinion, one of the biggest skills to master in songwriting is that balance between things that are more general that most people can relate to and things that are more specific that make the listener feel like the song is about them. So then, in the second half of the pre, I keep talking about thinking and wondering in this song, but I never actually present any of the questions that I'm wondering about. So I thought including a question was really necessary in the pre-chorus. Just to give a small example to demonstrate that feeling of never really knowing how you stand with someone, what you should feel, what you should think, what they feel. It's all very what's going on? And then, because of that feeling, you decide, wait, I really just need a debrief, unpack it all, 3-hour call. I think it's, I know it's what I need to stop my head, all the wandering. Let's have a debrief and never talk again. Are you kidding me? I'm so nice to you and then you interrupt me in the middle of my sentence. You were talking for so long. Was I just supposed to make them wait? Yeah, Caroline. That's the point. Whatever. Analyze the chorus now. Rude. And I was being so patient with her today, too. Anyways, the chorus. That's not the chorus. Hold on. The chorus. So, as to the role of the chorus in this song, to me, the chorus is where the main point of the song should be revealed. Like, if the song were a short story, which I actually think it is in a lot of ways, the chorus would be like the moral of the story, or the accumulation of everything that was previously described. So, in the chorus, I reveal that all the wondering has made me want a debrief, or a 3-hour call, so I can get some sense of clarity, finally knowing what the other person thought about this weird situation. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for a metaphor as a hook that explains what you're going through, but sometimes when it comes to lyrics, using phrases that you actually say in real life might be your best bet. My point is that don't restrict yourself to a box where you think that the only way you can write in your songs is super metaphorically or being more theatrical or dramatizing everything. Because this hook is something that I would actually say outside of a song. Like, I would seriously look at someone and be like, okay, we need to debrief. But instead of saying that to my best friend and getting a debrief on the party she went to and what guys she talked to, it's your ex giving you a debrief on everything they thought and felt during this weird time where y'all were together. Definitely a more awkward debrief, but probably even more necessary one. So that leads us to the final blank. Sometimes the hook is something you actually say. Ta-da! Then I also love this line, because it's kind of spelling out that thought process of doubting yourself and your own feelings. Going from I think to I know, it's like you're hesitating to solidify something even though you're sure about it. It's just a little detail that helps to keep the tone of the song consistent, but I think it's really cool. And then this line has what you guys probably already know is one of my favorite things in a song. Correlation between the melody and the lyric. Because on Wondering, I go up a little bit at the end of the word, and the sound is kind of manic-like, ah! You know? Which is exactly what it feels like to be constantly overthinking and doubting the details of a situation. You know, you feel a little crazy. And that's kind of what it sounds like. So it really helps to emphasize that unless every question you have is answered in this big, long conversation, you just might go insane. So something I struggled with in this song, and something I struggle with a lot as a songwriter in general, is how to convey the complexities of an emotion. Because if I just sang about overthinking and wanting to have a conversation with this person, it might seem like I miss them or even want to be with them again. But that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm really trying to say, like, hey, you're an unfinished chapter that I would really like to close. And I can't close it unless you tell me your side of the story. So I think that this line is really important because it clarifies, hey, I'm not missing you or wanting you back or anything. We don't really need to interact much after this. It's just this one conversation that I really need. And it's also kind of funny because the line is so contradictory. Like, hey, let's talk for hours and then leave. Anyways, so another thing that I think is really cool in this chorus is that, Caroline, didn't you just say leave room for interpretation? Well, yeah, but enough. I hope you like the bits of my song you heard and my analyzation. If you did, like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. You can hear me play the whole song in full on Friday. Love you. See you Friday!